FidelityGroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-6990. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll start things out with some open line. At 12:30, we have our Miss Teen contestants join us for a half hour thereabouts. 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. Just quickly though, before we give you a chance to sort of share in the bounty and the treasures and for us to say thanks, I'd like to extend on behalf of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association and the National Trust to join the seafarers over at the Seafarers Hall ongoing until 3 o'clock this afternoon. A little bit of family fun and fellowship, play some dominoes. Maybe you can go across and dethrone Mr. Denningston, because I understand he's still at the table and winning all of the 6-ups. A little time to hear from them and enjoy the festivities as we celebrate International Seafarers Day. This evening, 6:30 until 8 p.m. Chance to again share with the seafarers and hear Mr. Kem Jackson talk about his treasure hunting expeditions. But until 3 o'clock, let's go across some fun food and fellowships and opportunity to share with the seafarers. So have your chance to really not only show respect and appreciation, but to fellowship with them as well over at the Seafarers Hall. In the meantime, 949-8837, 949-6990, or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Now, in conjunction with the new Self-Help Community Foundation, the Talent Exposition of the Arts coming up this Sunday. So Monday is public holiday, the last one until November, as we celebrate our Constitutional Day. The Talent Exposition of the Arts is going to be held at the Harquail Theatre. Gates open at 5:30. Why don't we say thanks for the continuing support of our community and offer you a chance to win a ticket. Now, got a chance to share with you one ticket. If you want it, we'll certainly open the phone lines and you can give us a call. Tickets are normally, $10 prepaid and $15 at the gate. But we get a chance just to say, hey, thank you. So, first caller, Miss Susan? Third caller? What do you want to say? You know what? The first, she says, the first person can call and recite. No, she didn't say that at all. Call and give us a shout. We would like very much to share with you a ticket to the Talent Exposition of the Arts coming up this Sunday over the, sort of long holiday weekend as we celebrate Constitution Day. So it's brought to you by the new Self-Help Community Foundation. And got a couple of tickets that we'll give away, certainly on our Talk Today, but throughout a number of other programs. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon, welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. All right, 949-8037. Good afternoon. Hi, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I said I hear you giving me a ticket.
You know what? We are, man. We are. We believe in share and share alike, you know. What better way?
Radio Cayman is the only place I ever win anything from.
Well, I tell you what, it's the best place to win things because we are so happy to partner, you know, with the many different players in our community. And this is a wonderful opportunity to see the talent that is in our community. So happy to share a ticket with you.
All right.
All right. So, now, what you do is, you obviously going to need to come by here and get the ticket and, you know, bring your passport, blood sample, DNA. No, just kidding. You don't need to do that. But I almost want to have fun with you and say, you know what, I'll get you to sing a song first, but I won't even do that either. We just want to bless you with a ticket. All right, man. Anything before you go you want to share with us? Because we really appreciate listening.
I say thank you. Thank you.
Right.
You know me. Don't make me start today with anything else I want to.
We'll leave that for later on in the week, right?
Yeah. I'll just be happy with a ticket for now, and then if I call back.
Perfect. Now, just for formality purposes, right, we want you, before you disconnect, just stay on the line, let Miss Susan get your details. Then when you show up, you know, bring 15 forms of identification, a blood sample, 4 character references, and 2 people to verify who you are.
Okay, I can do that.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Goodbye.
I know some of you going, that's not funny. I had it at the bank today. No, you know, we got to live and love and laugh sometimes. And yeah, some people may take it a little bit too personal. Maybe sometimes even myself may think it's funny and it's only fun to us that are laughing. The rest of us aren't. But it's another beautiful day and glad that we are part of it and trying to remember those who are, you know, still, whether it's been just hours ago or whether it's been decades, they still miss their loved ones who have, you know, passed on. So we've got to give thanks and find every which way to celebrate, to make as best as we can the most positive and profound contributions that we can. And as we see the talent in our communities, whether it's in our classrooms or whether it's on our sporting events, whether it's in the artistic, sort of areas, we get a chance to really showcase our people. And the new Community Self-Help Foundation is doing that through its talent exposition of the arts. So it's this Sunday at the Harkwell Theatre. Gates open at 5:30, and tickets will be $10 prepaid. And if you go and wait, well, $15 at the gate. That's up to you. You can get tickets as you so choose for a chance for poetry and dance and exhibition, creative, teachings. Another opportunity, and part of the proceeds will benefit the Francis Borden Children's Home. Well, a few minutes of open line, and then 12:30, our guests from some of the Miss Teen contestants will join us. Our scheduled guests for 12:15 in the first few minutes of the segment. Maybe it's the rain. Maybe they decided, you know what, I don't really want to be with that boy this morning. I had enough of him. Who knows what it is? They may have changed their minds, but the weather and like Miller Vanilla, maybe blame it on the rain. That could be just it. But the show, Miss Norma tells me, as long as we are here, the show must go on. What is on your mind? It could be something that you've been contemplating for a long time. It could be just a thought that crossed your mind. You wonder if anybody else is thinking it. It doesn't have to be a complaint. It doesn't necessarily have to be a compliment either. It could just be a comment. But as it is, what is it that you believe is important? Obviously, as the rains sort of come and we go into this season as it is, we look at our roads. We're wondering, one, are the drains going to work efficiently so that we don't have the settling, water in some areas that we've had in previous years? Are we appreciative that those who go and clear the drains, they've got a challenging job? So are we grateful? Are we going to complain and say, oh, why didn't they do this before the rain started? Maybe they did and something else happened. And we look at the roads. Are they washing away and increasing? More and more potholes are on the roads. Are we looking at some of the issues relative to unemployment and with the new, the next round, I should say, of the NICE initiative coming on board? How do we view that? Is that just another continuing effort to make sure people can have at least some semblance of independence and pay their bills and put food on the table and the like? Are we looking at the recent comments on the the wage survey, and how do we take that on board? Are we saying, is that really true? Are Caymanians actually earning more than everybody else, except in, as I gathered from it, and I've only had a cursory look, those at the lower economic echelon and those at the very top. Now, is it, as some have quickly discerned, that, well, as the scope of Caymanians have broadened and we're now including so many more people, do we need to make some adjustments as we've done in the past relative to the per capita reported earnings and the like? And some would say, well, why do we? Caymanian. Now, when we look at statistics, are we truly looking at them very, objectively, doing a proper critical analysis? And as we look at the wealth distribution in our country, as we're looking at opportunities for people to make and earn a living, are we finding ever more increasing opportunities for them to have more money at the end of the month, the paycheck, to not just pay their bills, but to save and to invest and have money for travel and leisure, for retirement, for education, for, like today, a rainy day. Let's go to our phones. Welcome, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Wayne, that's me.
I thought it was, yeah. How are you?
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing today?
Boy, I want to say, darling, I'm feeling okay now, but I might get in trouble with somebody. Say, look at that, Look at the words he using.
That was rain out there. Good time be home now.
Susan said, mustn't say anything else. So, yes, I wouldn't mind being home now.
I know. But anyway, especially if you guys zinc house top.
Oh, I thought you said especially if you got somebody waiting for you. Jeez.
Oh, dude, I called in today. I just want to say, bless up to my helper.
There you go.
Today is she has been with me over 21 years. My son, my youngest child, is 21 today.
Wow, happy birthday.
And she came with me before he born, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
She is a wonderful, loving, caring, cherished person by me.
Wow.
I love her to death, and I will do everything and anything in my power to take care of her until the day she closes her eyes, because she is like my second mother. I lost my mother many years ago, almost 20 years, but she is like my second mother. And I want to tell the Caymanians or the long-time Jamaicans out there that to treat their helpers good. When you treat someone good, you get treated good. And there is a lot of people here that hurt their helpers and their nannies and don't treat them well because they work them a lot of times and they don't pay them. And it is sad because you have to treat people how you would want to be treated and how you want your employer to treat you. Whether I eat or not, when the month come, I make sure I pay my helper because she, make me tell you, she takes care of me. She took care of me. She took care of my children. When I went to college, she was there for me. When she take care of my grandchildren, and let me tell you, they love her better than cooked food. And nobody can look on her. And I hope and pray that when she gets old, that I can keep her here with me and take care of her, because that she treated me as a Caymanian coming here as a stranger. She took me and my kids like her own, and I hope and pray that I will be able to keep her here with me and take care of her also. I just want to say a big thank you to her, and for if there is more people out there that have helpers, and no matter where they're from, that takes care of our children, treat our children like their own, could give a little call in sometimes and big them up. Let them know they are appreciated.
That's it. The respect, begets respect. And as we teach our children to respect others, not just, their classmates and friends, not just their teachers, but their other caregivers and just the adults and their peers. So what you're doing is a great example. You obviously have a wonderful relationship, but that's because you're a wonderful person with another wonderful person in your life, and it's important.
Yes. Thanks, Dwayne.
Commend you
And
for that.
that's all I wanted to say today. You take care and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, man. You too, and enjoy the rain. Be extra careful and vigilant out there, you and all of us on the roads.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, well, let's pause and take a break. And when we come back, our excellent Miss Teen contestants and their chaperones shall join us in the studio. Chance to chat with them as we invite you to join us after the break.
There are plenty of reasons to be a Logic customer. There's lightning-fast internet connectivity. There's the great overall customer experience. And now, you can improve your Wi-Fi connectivity with Logic Boost Wi-Fi for free. With Boost, you can extend your freedom to stream, game, and download seamlessly anywhere in your home, like your patio or your underground lair if you have one. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Meet the world with Puritan professional launderers and dry cleaners. Call 949-7104 for opening hours at Puritan's Countryside Savannah, Elgin Avenue besides Off the Peg, and 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive through, rain or shine. Ask about Puritan's ongoing discounts plus free pickup and delivery. Call 949-7104. Puritan's 949-7104.
I support building the piers because the cruise industry puts millions of dollars into our economy each year. Without that revenue, young people like me risk facing an uncertain future. Learn more and spread the word.
Looking forward, looking bright. Support our port, support our tourism.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio K-Man for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of K-Man's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio K-Man News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And as we continue to look at all that is wonderful in this community, honored now to be able to sit around a table with, these, I don't want to say young, but certainly excellent and exceptional ladies, as we have a chance to talk about the upcoming Miss Teen contestant pageant. I always never get that right, so we'll see. That's fun. That's why I cut my hair more often than... Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate you bringing the rain because we needed that. And as we go around the table and have a chance for each to share with us, I'm very grateful for Radio K-Man being able to provide this opportunity. Thanks to Miss Anita to join us. I want to start with you first, and you can set the stage for us. What do you think?
Of course.
Of course.
Hello, K-Man. My name's Stephanie. I am the chairperson of the Miss Teen Committee, and I have here with us some of our contestants and our first runner-up, Miss Caitlin Seymour. Hey, Caitlin.
Hi. It's just fun, and I love the fact that the energy, the enthusiasm, but also the example that you set, and the willingness that other people feel can be encouraged, that we can pursue many things and be successful at many things equally. Right? Miss Stephanie, if it's okay with you, I'll start to my left and go around. Would that be fine?
Sure.
Okay, she gave me permission, so she, I feel like I'm in the boss now.
Hi, I'm 16-year-old Jada Bodden. I reside in Bodden Town, and I'm currently enrolled in University College of Cayman Islands.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Gooden. I'm going to be proudly representing the district of Bodden Town. I currently go to Cayman Prep and High School, where I'm doing my A-levels, and I'm 16 years old.
Hi. Hi, K-Man. I'm 18-year-old Caitlin Seymour, and I'm the current reigning Miss Teen first runner-up.
Hi, my name is Manina Thompson. I'm competing in Miss Teen as contestant number 4, and I go to UCCI.
Hi everyone, my name is Amelia Lamy and I'm 17 years old, representing the historical district of Bodin Town, and I'm currently attending Cayman Islands Further Education Center.
Now, Miss Steph, do you see that, right?
I know.
I didn't say that too. But no, and the beautiful part is that we see increasingly more and more, way back when, and I was only reminded of this early this morning. Miss Teen and Miss Cayman used to be Miss Teen, West Bay, and Miss Teen coming back and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as we watch, more of our districts, more of our people just getting involved, and the opportunities are there. The difficulties that our parents and grandparents, in some cases, the great-grandparents had to move even within their districts, we take for granted today because quickly and we're from one part of Grand Cayman, the next thing you know, we're on the Brac or across the pond and somewhere in Germany.
Yep.
So the opportunities to interact and engage is easily forgotten on some of us like me who are no longer teenagers, but may think we are. But I'm honored, man, to be in this. Ms. Stephens, if I can, through you, ask each of the young ladies, why they got involved and talk different things about it, would that be fine? Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm okay to answer that question.
That'd be fine.
You should be prepared.
I tell you what, I can see the intellect just immediately, evident. Now, Steve, we start with you first. What brought you to now, this stage in your life where you want to be a part of this?
While growing up watching the Miss Teen pageants and others, I've come to realize what a great opportunity it really is, and I've taken upon myself to have goals and dreams that's beyond my comfort zone. So I wanted to be exposed to the audience so that I can recover my shyness and be more open and bold and about certain things.
Well, I come in here for that because I'm nervous now, I'm shy, and people don't understand that, But you can, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Ms. Thompson, if I may ask you.
Yes. So the reason why I decided to join Miss Teen, it's a huge step for me. Just like Amelia, I'm struggling with getting outside of my comfort zone, and I'm always looking for stuff where I can learn new skills, challenges, and just network with people. So I think it's a great experience, and it's just me doing it for myself.
Great. Now, Ms. Stewart, we'll come back to you in a second to ask why you did it and what it's been like, so on. But first, Ms. Gooden.
Okay, so for me, I decided to join Miss Teen just because, I always enjoy challenging myself and trying new things. I felt that doing Miss Teen would also allow me to, speak up for others and to be a platform for those who can't, speak for themselves, and to encourage other younger girls to participate. Not to mention, being outspoken has always been something that I've been quite involved with, and I like sharing my opinions and stuff, so I felt that Miss Teen would give me that platform to do so.
Miss Premier. Ms. Boyden.
I entered the Miss Teen pageant firstly because I wanted to be rewarded with a scholarship that's offered to the Miss Teen 2019 to 2020, and also to promote my platform, which is giving young people a voice and make them feel as though they're more involved in the wider society, and of course to work on my public speaking skills and the experience.
All right. Now, we are indeed speaking to our Miss Teen contestants, and we'll tell you more about it, but as we speak to the first runner-up last time, right? We see more from that perspective as you now look back, and 2 questions immediately. Why did you do it? And then looking back, as you reflect on it, what are your thoughts?
So in the beginning, I did Miss Teen as a next step. I've always done and been in pageants. I did our Little Miss, and I was like, this is the next step for me of getting myself out within my own community, and as well as networking and just being able to build upon my confidence and see where that left me. And in looking back, I have to say I have nothing but great thanks and gratitude for being a part of Miss Teen. Although, yes, in the end, I didn't win. I won an experience, and I was able to take that and put that into my life and further develop myself, not only as a person, but a person within my community and even into my career and my choices.
Ms. Stefan, I ask, many of us sometimes, we think we're being polite, we think we're being politically correct, and we say, it's not the victory, we're all winners. But if I may, I think that is true, and unfortunately we say it in such a dismissive way. The courage is really shared. To come here and do this, you got to be facing me. You got a medal for that. But go on stage, your family, your friends are there. It can be intimidating for many without talking out of school too much. I've had attorneys who, in the courtrooms, they're dominating. They've got this thing. In here, they're shaking like a leaf, right? Because it's a new experience. Yet there's a little primary school student who comes in and can't bear to sit on the chair to see her, and she is owning this room. So as we develop our people, from that perspective, though, Ms. Stephanie, the idea of being an advocate, extending a voice, the ambition to not only through scholarship and get for the education, but opportunities. Ms. Teen provides so much more for our young ladies.
So much more. I too, like Caitlin, I went into pageant years ago. I didn't win, but it was about the experience and everything that I gained from it. The public speaking, I want to say, is one of the biggest, if not the best aspect of getting involved in a pageant. There's etiquette training. There is runway. People think, oh, it's walking. It's walking, but it's poise and your posture and walking with confidence, and that definitely all goes back to honing everything, becoming a better person. There's time management skills because the girls have a tight schedule. They can tell you, between school, some of them are at school, some of them have internships. So it's just, being a better person in the end.
Wow.
So,
poise, posture, confidence, time management, being a better person. I'm going to enter. Those are the things I need. All right, when we come back from the break, Susan keeps me straight sometimes. When I come back from the break, can we talk more about your platforms and the things, and maybe not just what a pageant means, but perhaps what you, looking forward, would like to see 10, 100 years from now? Yes, me as governor, that's definitely on the table. We are having a wonderful opportunity to highlight and share and really showcase and be so proud of our wonderful young ladies. So we invite you to rejoin us when we come back from our break.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
June 26th is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Did you know that use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs begin in adolescence? Studies show that the brain doesn't stop developing until the age of 25. So, kids, don't harm yourself by putting alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs in your body. This message is brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
Sports fans, tune in to Radio Cayman's Sports Extra Show.
Hi, I'm Bruce Lee Colson.
Sports Extra.
This and every Tuesday night, right here on Radio Cayman, 89.9 and 93.9, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Sports Extra, from 7 to 8 p.m., right here on Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. Sports Extra.
Proudly brought to you by King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And if you happen to be, watching us on YouTube right now, you've seen 6, yes, but only 5 of them are this year's, Miss Teen contestants. Miss Daphne easily passes for one of the teens. Without question, Miss Daphne? Easily. I mistook. So this year, 6 contestants in total?
Oh, we have 5.
5?
Angelina is not with us today. She's not well, but she does send her wishes, and she is excited to be on when we're back again.
Okay, so 6 contestants, we got 5 of the 6, and Steph is sort of like
I guess I'm unofficial contestant number 6.
No, it's just how I think the idea of being youthful is as much inside as is on the outside, and the notion of having a voice and extending and giving those from that perspective, Ms. Borden, your platform, tell us about it. You said you wanted to be that voice that,
So my platform is based on giving young people the opportunity to voice in different issues that's going on in Cayman. Things I plan to do to promote this platform is to get the youths more involved in the youth parliament, also visit schools and make them voice what they think should change in the community. Also, I plan to partner with the Minister of Education, Ms. Juliana O'Connor.
Perfect. Ms. Good?
Okay, so my platform basically focuses on encouraging younger girls, not only adults, but also girls to participate in events and to just become more encouraged to try new things. I feel that in our society now, we have a lot of girls who shy away from these stuff and who wouldn't really want to get involved in a pageant. So for me, participating, my best thing is to take all my experience and to go out there and show these younger girls that you can do this. This is something good to try, and that they should take it upon themselves to get involved.
Interesting. I think sometimes the perceptions are there that, why speak if nobody's listening to you? Sometimes you feel like your parents, your teachers, and even the politicians sometimes, as it is, because you're a child. Ms. Seymour, what do you think? Is that how it is sometimes?
Definitely, especially in the Cayman Islands community. It can be quite hard because we have a vast older generation and, we're getting modern ideas, modern thoughts, and we just need to take that change and try to merge the two together where we can actually coexist.
And for those of us who should be listening, see so that the young people aren't being disrespectful, they just want to be heard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So with me, my platform is going to resemble my passions. I've showcased what I'm passionate about through extracurricular activities and what I'm involved with in the community. And I'm really passionate about the environment and just volunteer work and the act of kindness. I feel like that can go a really long way. You don't have to per se give monetary donations to show or make a difference in someone's life. So I would like to showcase that just being involved with the community is really important, and I want to bring more people onto that volunteer work.
And I like that because many times, and I'm very grateful for those of us who can write a check, whether it's for a million or a billion or a zillion, a number. Sure, but it should not, if I'm hearing you, it should not be a scenario where the person who can write the biggest check is the one who makes the biggest contribution. Are you able to give of your time, your talent, and your treasure? Now, from that perspective, Emilia, as you look around the table, as you think of the community things, your platform, your voice, what are your thoughts?
Well, my platform would be talking about intersectional feminism. I personally believe that young women and teens should have their own sexuality preferences, who they choose, what.
Okay, fair enough. And this is thank you very much for sharing. This is the wonderful part. I think as we become family and friends, we develop a confidence and a trust, and an ability to encourage each other. And through that, we become not just ambassadors for here when we travel overseas for work, for study, for even vacation, but we have a network that we can leverage. And it's not just safety in numbers in the sense of security, but an extended voice. Right, Ms. Borden?
Yes.
Contestant number 15. Susan McBee. If I could, Ms. Seymour, from your perspective, our wider community, as we look at pageantry, is that okay the word you use? Because I get confused all the time.
Correct one.
And I look at my sisters who were in it, whether there was the Miss Teens, the Miss Caymans, and the like, and we would go out. Okay, first days with the town hall, the acoustics they were good to us then until we realized how bad they were. They were at their holidaying, the real holidaying, and you were outside and you were worried if the weather was going to cooperate or not. And the community was there supporting. Then we see the transition to some pageants no longer have swimsuits. Yeah, no longer have swimsuit competitions. Some looking on talent and on physique and the like. Well, is it evolution, transformation, or is it just a value system that's changed? Your perspective, Ms. Seymour.
I think it's just evolution. Times have changed. Sadly,
Mm.
we're coming into a generation where women are sadly over-sexualized, and that's where change in pageantry has come in.
Mhm.
It's become less about looking at your physique and saying, dang, she's really into her body and a strong female. And in a way, it's fine to show your body in a swimsuit. I go to the beach. People go to the beach. Like, it's fine, but it's just sad that we live in a generation that when we get up on stage as women, we have to think that there may be a male in the audience that is taking that as something else, and it's very sad that that's where we've moved to, and that's what we have to shy away from, but it is now a part of our life.
And I hope that as I listened to what you shared, and you were sharing earlier, the notion that as a community we can look at people for who they are, no longer let that first impression be the only and lasting impression, and not judge the person by what they wear and what their clothes make it the man. Why not the substance of the people? How do we get there? Are we, from your perspective, are we getting to that point where we're seeing people, male and female, young and heart alike, for what they are, or are we still having to beat the road and the path because we're still in a frontier land? What do you think?
Well, I personally believe that people should be themselves, and they must stay true to themselves. And
well, that's true. Staying true is definitely sometimes easier said than done. I mean, imagine how it's true to me. No, I just what can we do as the parents, as people who will, because some of us love coming to competitions and pageantry, and it doesn't matter if it's people out there, we're there in the audience clapping and cheering, because that's just, maybe we're voyeurs, I don't know. What can we do as a wider community to make sure that we help, support, nurture, encourage, show the love and the respect?
As Amelia was saying, being open-minded, allowing people to be themselves, supporting these young ladies or anyone who's entering any kind of competition, whether it is Miss Teen or something else, it's just to show the encouragement. I mean, we all like to be encouraged to do something and have that backing support from whether it's your family or your friends, and the community in a whole. We just need your help to.
I wouldn't necessarily expect a response, so forgive me. I just look around now and I see not only this incredible level of intellect. You guys, honestly, you can feel the smartness. Just even my computer now is starting to boot up and it looks even smarter than what it was before. But in our community, when we talk about adolescence and all the things, I mean, I'm still going through my adolescence, just kidding. And our young men sometimes confused about so much they see, and only because the men are not here now, so we pick on them a little bit. We see them looking at certain actors and certain athletes and certain celebrities, and from them they think, well, this is obviously what you do in order to achieve this. This is how you impress the young lady. What would you say to the young men and their fathers to say to their sons, okay, when you see a lady, yeah, you're awkward and you're probably uncomfortable, but instead of trying to come off cool, or this is what you do in order to make a positive first impression. Maybe start with you first, Ms. Stephanie. What would be that advice that the young ladies could share with the young gents so that they look more like G's and gents? I don't know.
Respect, definitely.
Yeah.
Respect is the first thing that pops out of my head, I don't think any of these young ladies like myself wouldn't want a young man to approach us walking a certain way, all macho. Nothing is wrong with confidence, but you can also be overly confident. But just be yourself. If you're a shy person and you're not used to just going up and talking to a girl, you can just say hi, good morning, and then a conversation can start from there. I mean, I've had lots of conversations where people just wait, good morning, how are you today? And then from there it can go on. I mean, you want to see the person's real personality. You don't want that fake facade that I'm macho, I'm a tough guy, I'm walking in. Young men, if you're listening, pull up your pants.
Yes. I totally agree with you.
Tie your shoelaces. No, just kidding.
Some shoes have Velcro. Get over that.
Thank you for Velcro. No, but seriously, I mean, that young gentleman that comes up and, he maybe wants to do that, and he comes up, rehearsed his opening line, and all he's planning to say is, hi, and he comes up, and nothing comes out, he goes blank.
With a smile. A nice smile.
Smile?
Put out your hand, my name is, or just say your name. I mean, it's awkward. We've all had awkward.
Where were you in the early days? Give me encouragement and advice. No, I say that because I think that is perhaps what's lacking. Society talking about young lady how you should sit and young lady how you should do. But what are we saying to the young men?
Exactly.
Respect. Are you respectful of yourself and of others? Not just your male counterparts on the football team or in the classroom, but the young lady who one day can probably be your boss. I mean, just see Miss Susan, my boss. Yeah. Let's go around the table again. Start with you, Miss Thompson. If it's okay, again, through Miss Stephanie, ask you guys, with the issues faced in our communities, and not just for the young people, but our communities, if you so choose, can I ask, 1, 2, 10, 1,000, but start with 1. What are some of the more pressing things that we're not looking at sufficiently?
In Cayman in general?
In Cayman in general.
Oh, goodness, you started me up on something. That's a very deep question for me because I'm very passionate about my home. I believe there are a lot of great qualities about Cayman, but I believe that we can also improve on certain areas. For example, when it comes to the tourism aspect, I think we need to look at quality, not quantity, most cases. When it comes to the younger generation, I think we need to encourage entrepreneurship. I feel like a lot of students are geared towards either doing finance or tourism. So I feel like we need to encourage them to be innovative and get out there and voice their thoughts. And also with the double standards with women and men, men just need to be taught that they need to be genuine and that there's more that meets the eye. There's a lot of things in Cayman that could be better. And this is one of the great ways of getting that idea out there.
All right, well, Seymour, if you want to jump in, and of course, we'll also ask Ms. Gooden, Ms. Watson to come back. What do you think?
I feel right now the biggest thing in Cayman is education. Yeah. I feel that sadly for our youth, it's crazy out there. You know, they're being thrown into the world so young. I'm freaking out. I'm just 18 and I'm going off to university, which is the standard age. And I know people that came out of school when they were 16, 17, and I'm like, I don't understand how you did that. And I feel like government really needs to look into that because in the long run, that does affect a child, a person, and what their career looks like. We also need to look into being more, and I guess taking more of an environmental approach to things. I feel like the Cayman Islands can do so much more than we've already done in our environmental efforts and making sure that the youth's voice are heard and actually taking acknowledgement to that.
All right. That's good.
I mean, just going off of what Caitlin said, I also agree with the education sector of Cayman. I feel that there's so much more that we can do to not only better our youth, but to help them get more active. Like what Monina said as well, I feel like our students are taught to, go into finance, be a doctor, be this, it'll be good for you. I feel like we should also incorporate aspects for those who are not academically advanced, but are also like technical. They can do this, they can work on cars, just to get them more involved and let them see that, there is a chance for everyone. There's an opportunity out there for you. And to also focus that everyone deserves to be heard, everyone deserves to have a say in what we do in Cayman, and that we should all just be given an opportunity to better ourselves.
Indeed. One.
Agreeing with Caitlin and Ashley, I think it's really important that we press the importance of education because children do build the future and it's important for everyone to have an education.
All right. So we do. As you wish.
Well, I personally believe that the most pressing issue in our society today is traffic. Like, I want to be a technical architect, and I believe that advocating and going to school and coming back and I would have an opportunity to work in that field and help reduce the traffic that's lately.
Perhaps into urban planning and looking at things. Ms. Stephanie, we certainly want to extend an invitation for you to come back.
Of course, anytime.
As often as we can. In closing, and I realize how quickly the time has gone, maybe just remind the listeners the pageantry and some of the details. Could we get that from you? All
sure.
Right. Thanks.
The pageant is slated for August the 24th. That's in the next couple months, 2 months away. I know the girls are very excited. We're, training every day to make sure everything is great. Follow us on social media. We have an Instagram and a Facebook, Miss Teen Cayman. Also, the young ladies are looking for sponsors. So if anyone's listening and they might want to get involved with the pageant, the young ladies always need sponsor. That's the hardest part about being in a pageant, and I'm saying this because it was very hard for me when I did Miss Cayman a couple of years ago, was sponsorship. It's the most hardest part, it's harder than any of the training that we put for these girls. It's having the support from the community. You know, a little bit goes a long way, just for them to be able to stay in the pageant and participate in the different events that we have coming up. Talking about events that we have coming up, we have our skate night coming up next month. So just keep tuned to our Facebook and our Instagram page so you can see current Miss Teen, sorry. Ooh, sorry, Leticia. Giving you a title you don't have.
Yet. I mean, sorry.
Yeah. She and Caitlin have started this year as one of their platforms is to help the NCBO and help raise some money for them. So we'll be doing some other events to help with them for them raising money along with the contestants. So as something that we're giving back to the community, because I mean the young ladies have great platforms and they're going to advocate for that, but we also want to help another organization in the community that gives so much back to the community itself. But yeah, 24th of August.
24th of August.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Well, thank you all very much. I know there's a lot to cover. Whenever we come back to the studio, Susan's over there. She's the boss. So she tells us we have the news break, but can have you guys come back and congratulations. You all are wonderful.
Thank you, Radio Cayman, for having us. Thank you.
Miss Teen, August the 24th. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Caymanian Lisa Malice is the new head of the Department of Community Rehabilitation, having served as acting director since September 2017. Ms. Malice has been working with DCR since 2004. She says she is honored by the promotion. In international news, climate change in the western U.S. means more intense and frequent wildfire, churning out waves of smoke that scientists say will sweep across the continent to affect tens of millions of people and cause a spike in premature deaths. Malaysia's government has shut more than 400 schools in a southern state after chemical pollution sickened dozens of students for the second time in 3 months. The Education Ministry ordered 111 government schools and several hundred private educational institutions in Johor State to close for 3 days starting today after many students complained of breathing difficulty and vomiting. The source of the pollution has not been identified. Amid heavy skepticism and deep doubts about prospects for success, the Trump administration today convened an international conference to promote its ambitious but harshly criticized $50 billion economic support plan for the Palestinians. President Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner was to kick off the 2-day workshop in the Gulf Kingdom of Bahrain with a speech to some Arab finance ministers, the heads of international financial organizations, and private sector business executives and investors from dozens of states. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Discover your purpose. Unleash your potential with U.S. Grammy-nominated gospel singer and motivational speaker, 22-year-old Jacqueline Carr, and local youth talent at Gospel Fest 2019. Lion Center, Sunday, June 30th, 6:30 p.m. Tickets $15 pre-sold. Performing Billboard hits, You're Bigger and You Will Win. Jacqueline Carr at Gospel Fest 2019. You can't afford to miss it. Tickets available at the following outlets: Cayman Islands Conference, ABNC, ValueMed Pharmacy, Christian Enlightenment Center, Bellagio Salon and Spa, Campbell's Auto Repairs and Sales, Funky Tangs Limited, the Physiotherapy Center, Rankins Plaza, Shop number 11, Plaza Venezia, North Sound Road.
Kick off Constitution Weekend with an exciting international all-star football match that you won't want to miss. Saturday, June 29th at Truman Bodden Sports Complex. Football legends Gianfranco Zola of Italy, Shaka Hislop of Trinidad and Tobago, Ricardo Gardner and Darren Moore of Jamaica, Sean Davis of England, and Pascal Chimbanda of France will join with Jamaica Reggae Boys legends Walter Boyd, Onandi Lowe, and Cayman Islands national team greats Lee Ramone, Gilly Seymour, Antonio Smith, Richard Hugh, and many more with free admission to the public, and all patrons must be seated no later than 5:30 p.m. when the gates will close. Large bags and glass bottles will not be permitted. This all-star charity football match will feature entertainment at halftime and a donation collection in support of the Hope for Today Foundation. Saturday, June 29th at Truman Bodden Sports Complex. Don't miss as football legends from the UK, the Caribbean, and the Cayman Islands come together to play in this historic match as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Cayman Islands Constitution. Admission is free. For more information, visit celebratecayman.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. And who said not only men but best players can multitask? Look at that. I'm introducing the show and sending an email to myself to make sure that I get it so that as I talk, I can see it on the biggest screen. I want to say a special thanks to all of our, wonderful sort of supporters and counselors and mentors and people who encourage our young people specifically. As we get into a discussion with Ms. Katina Anglin, the opportunity just before to speak with some of the contestants for the upcoming Miss Teen pageantry on the 24th of August. So encouraging. Miss Tina, we look at our young people specifically and we understand a number of things immediately. They're not only very intelligent and involved and informed, they have a strong passion, vision, expectation, and a strong concern for today and for our future. If we embrace them, we, the adults, the parents, the teachers, if I might dare say the policymakers, the politicians elected or appointed, listen to them, extend their voice. Wow, what a country we could have. But anyway, maybe I get accused of being political. I don't know.
No, but in all honesty, right? The Bible says that, the weaker, the children from the mouth of babes.
Yep.
Oftentimes, we ignore their feelings, the way that they see things. We just charge ahead and 10 years down the line, slap ourselves on the forehead and say, oh my God, I can't believe you're at this point. And a 20-year-old at that time who is either in prison or unemployed or something says, you know how long I've been trying to make that point to you?
That's it. If you're asked back, I told you, so if you're listening, you'd have heard.
Yeah.
But
you weren't listening to what I was saying.
As we talk about, the family, I mean, so much comes into play. And we even look at our behaviors on the road. We're driving, okay, or we're the bus driver, we're making money, making a living, we're the parent, we're the coach taking, we're the teacher, chaperone.
Yes.
We say we do, verbally and non-verbally. We're making statements.
Yes.
Are we conscious of how that is being received by our children, the younger people with us?
I don't think that we often consider the examples that we are setting. Even just yesterday evening, I was with a young lady, her baby daughter. There was a word that came out of her mouth that most adults shy away from, and she did that oh my goodness thing. And it was then that she admitted that, she's learned that from me. Now, did she teach her daughter that? She did not teach her daughter to say that. But children are sponges and they soak up the things that they hear and that they see. And I was talking also the other day with a 20-something-year-old in the presence of her 6-year-old child. And we were discussing care of her aging, very aged grandmother. And she said, but I don't have time to do that. And I said, Well, what you're really saying to your child is this. When I'm old, you get to discard me also. You know, this is what your words translates to your younger generation. Are we always aware of what it is that we're doing and what we're saying? No, but we need to become more, because our children are learning from what they hear us say, what they see us do, the environment that we create around them. So
the country song, Susan could probably remind us of the lyrics talk about, you know, where did you learn that the father and his son is driving, and you know the father's making comments, you know, and then the son repeats it, and then one evening the father comes into the room and there's his son, you know, kneeling by the bread to pray, and he's always asking, where did you learn that? Well, I learned that from you. Just like I learned that, I'm also learning how to curse. I also learning how to treat people. Are we conscious or aware of the example we're setting?
Exactly. You were speaking just now also, Dwayne, about driving and stuff. And if I could just take this time to appeal to drivers on the road. You pay to get a driver's license, regardless of the size of vehicle. If it's motorized, you have to pay to use the road. That's a privilege. It is a right to walk, to run, or to ride a bicycle on the road. That is a right. Okay? Now, I have seen so many instances, alarming, where drivers disregard persons who are walking and riding on the road and treat them as though they are dispensable, you know, with the attitude like, well, I'm driving a vehicle. If you get in the way, you know, it'll be you that's hurting and not me, because I'm in a metal box and you're made from flesh. And that's very, very inhumane. And then I see, you know, the heavy equipment drivers going 70 miles per hour on the highway. And even today, a semi-truck coming through from Hill Road going up towards the primary school, doing about 40, and this is a low bed trailer, my apologies. These vehicles don't stop on short notice, and when you're driving, when you have to be very, very aware of the fact that you're driving on crowded streets and that your vehicle does not have a very short stopping distance, and the amount of damage that those vehicles can do is not a bicycle colliding with a pedestrian. They are lethal. I mean, every machine is, but they are lethal. So now that I've made that public appeal, if we can just be more humane towards each other, and if we can learn to love each other, respect each other more.
You know, I appreciate that, because I think in all of that, if we would extend a little bit more consideration on our roads, a little more courtesy.
Yes.
We would, even when we park, you know, are we trying to park, even if there aren't defined lines, the car is there and we pull into the space. Is it a space sufficient one that we can get into and get out of our cars? Could two cars get in here, you know, between, you know, the space here? So if we park a little bit more to one side or the other, would two cars fit as opposed to
just one? Yeah.
Little things that go a long way, but our own safety when we're driving. But I think that comes back to this whole issue of your, can I use the word campaign? Your focus, your initiative on family and family values and bringing a family. Because if we can, within our family, not just the biological family, the family of the classroom, the family of the football team, the family of our circle of friends and influence, instill certain values.
The fabric of society, because family is the fabric of society. And even in that, with the parking illustration that you just made there, we teach our children when we say, no, I got to park better than this, because then they're going to be able to get into their car and stuff like that. So we are teaching our children to be considerate and caring one towards the other. Remember, the person in the car next to us, we don't even know who it is.
Right.
All right? But what we are teaching our children is that we love our neighbor as ourselves. We don't know who's driving a car. What we do know is that if we park the right way, then we are actually providing a type of care and consideration for the next person, you know. And so moving on with the family rally for today.
Yes, yes.
The purpose of being here. Dean, I love coming on the show with you.
Thank you, man.
I go to West Bay when it gets in your company, boy.
Well, I mean, people have said worse. No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to really invite you and have you come on.
Thank you.
All right. So
and I want to give you a compliment before I dive into this thing.
I haven't paid you yet. It's going to cost me more. Jeez. Susan was paid. That is cute. You see the switch? What time is switch? Okay, I'll have to behave. Okay. Susan,
the young man called me up a couple of days ago and he said, Miss Tina, he said, I want to call in. He said, but you and Dwayne present such an air of peace. He said, I didn't want to call in and disturb it. I thought that was really amazing to
I'll go with
hear.
Thank you.
Okay, but anyway, the family rally. The family rally. That's next week, Monday. 1 week from today. It's public holiday Monday. It is Constitution Day Monday. And as you may recall, this all came up as a result of the challenge to Section 14, the definition of marriage in our Constitution. So on Constitution Day, from 6 until 8 p.m., just there at the Legislative Assembly building, we are going to have our second Family Empowerment Rally. We're asking everyone to wear white tops. Transportation will be provided. You can call 917-2985. Again, 917-2985. That's Gwen. She's heading up our transportation division. If you want to confirm what time your pickup time is and you can't remember after this broadcast, 917-2985. But from East End and North Side, we'll begin the pickups at North Side School Field at 4 p.m. at the East End Civic Center at 4 p.m. We will be picking up from the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist at 4:30 p.m. From the West Bay Town Hall, the Turtle Farm, and Centennial Towers at Four-Way Junction. That will be at 4:30 p.m. And from the Seventh-day Adventist on Smith Road, the Universal Church on Walker's Road, and Full Gospel Hall on South Church Street beginning at 5:15 p.m. The 5:15 p.m. church pickups. So you park your vehicle in your parking lots, hop on the bus, and come over to the event, and then we'll bring you back to your cars afterward. There will also be parking provided at the library, but if we could reserve that parking for senior citizens and for the transportation buses, that would be very much appreciated. So we're asking folks to park their cars out at the outlying locations and ride the buses in. And also we're going to have 2 regional speakers this event. Looking forward into the future sounds this year. Yeah. Actually, we've been contacted by so many people. They've said, I see this as a problem and we need to address this. And yes, there are so many issues that affect the family. And while this one, the same-sex marriage imposition, is what we are focused on now, it is not limited to that. We're not up at guns and shields, talking about, well, this is our sole cause and everything. It is really about family values, what affects it, and how do we guard it, how do we rebuild it, how do we strengthen it, and so on. But one of the speakers will be Pastor Philip Gums from Anguilla. He's actually been here on the island before. He's no stranger to Cayman. It was he who also wrote the inspirational message to the Cayman Islands people called The Hour of Courage, in which he also advised us that, the whole Caribbean, the whole region and the rest of the world is looking on and really depending on the Cayman Islands to stand. I mean, honestly, Dwayne, this has become the war ground, spiritual war ground between Christian values and rights and the LGBT imposition. And we can never look away from it and call it anything else but what it is. And that's really what it's all about. And judicial tyranny plays such a important role in how they achieve their goals. And so Caymanians must become aware of what it is that we're really up against, because you can't stop a train if you don't know that it's coming. So one of the benefits of coming out on next week, Monday evening, will be to learn about these different things and how do we as the people deal with it. And the other speaker, it will be Miss Philippa Davis. Miss Davis is the president of the Jamaica Coalition for Healthy Society. And she's written and submitted different policy briefs, even to the Human Rights Council, to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament in Jamaica. An amazing woman, absolutely amazing woman. Miss Helene Coley Nicholson isn't able to make it back with us for this one. But we have also our very own, the Reverend Bishop Nicholas Sykes, who will also be a speaker at the event on Monday evening. And as you may know, Reverend Sykes has fought this battle for many, many years. He's issued the warnings. He has done decades of research globally. Also, a lot of the information he's offered has come out from laws and regulations, even in the UK. And so we have that direct relationship with the legal aspect of it. And I myself will also speaking as well to introduce the public better on Cayman Cause and what it is and what its purpose is and those sorts of stuff. So that is next week, Monday, from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Legislative Assembly. We're asking people to wear white tops and transportation will be provided, plus water. In addition, we are currently drafting a petition not intended to trigger a referendum, but it does speak to upholding the Constitution as it exists. And additionally, we will also have membership forms so the public can sign up to become a member of Cayman Cause. Now, Cayman Cause is a citizens activism group. I think, Dwayne, we have talked. Caymanians are the best talkers. And I'm testament of how well we can talk. But the time for talking now is over.
Yeah.
It is time for us to become politically aware and politically active. It is time for us to teach those who are amongst us how politics and civics really work, and then to act on it. When you have politicians standing in our House of Parliament, I can call it, which is really an assembly, and telling your youth that that equality is a God-given right, regardless of sexual orientation, you couldn't find a bigger lie than that. Because that's exactly why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and the three other cities, was because of their choice of sexual orientation. All right? He lays it out even in the New Testament, in the Old Testament. He says, man shall not live with man as he does with woman, because it is an abomination to the Lord. So to get up there and as the most powerful man in the country and say that you have this right, it's a God-given right. How can you really get it in a more deceptive than that, coming from the most powerful man in this country? So it is things like this that we have to become politically aware of in order that we can address issues and we can say to our children, no, that isn't the truth. Or it isn't quite the truth, or it's far away from the truth. But if you're not aware of what it is that's being said in the political environment, and you're not aware of what your rights are, how are you going to contend against it? And that's a part of what Cayman Cause is going to do, is to be the citizens activist group, monitoring the political atmosphere, and standing for what is good and standing against what is not good, what is not Christian. And one thing that everyone who has heard about this group has said is, so it's a Christian values group? Yeah, I won't be a part of that. Because we in this country, we love our foundation. And we are a nation built on Christian values. And if it's one thing that's becoming more resonant in this country as this battle wears on, is that Caymanians do not want their foundation chipped on or shaken or anything of the sort. They want it defended. And they believe in Christ. They may not be as dedicated and devoted as many others are, but they believe in Christ and they want this to remain as it is. You have people saying that religion doesn't have anything to do with the Constitution, but my Constitution declares it. I don't know what you won't believe about it, but the Constitution declares us as a nation of Christian values. And it's going to remain that way too.
As I listen to you, we're speaking to Ms. Katina Anglin, and the invitation is there for Monday, public holiday Monday, as we observe our Constitution. on the steps of the Legislative Assembly.
Yes.
6 to 8 p.m.
6 till 8 p.m.
Right.
That's the cool of the evening too, you see?
Yeah. Even this time of year.
Yeah.
The preamble to our Constitution, I think there were great effort on the part of many. I think the charge led by, the late Pastor to craft a preamble to embody what you were sharing. And as we read the preamble, now those who were intimately involved with the process may have shared that the intent was for the preamble to be more than just a preamble.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are those who are scholarly who said, well, unfortunately, the preamble is just a preamble.
Right.
But the ethos and you said the foundation he hath founded upon the seas. You're saying that is on the threat. It's being challenged now. We need to stand up and defend it. Otherwise, the foundation is shaken.
Well, if we scroll down just a bit further past the preamble, and we get into Article 101, I think it is. Can you pull that up? Can you access it? I heard your internet was starting to come up just now because these girls are so bright and brilliant. But anyway.
But it left, it went down. It actually literally went down. The Miss Teen contest has left.
And the internet went down?
You saw me trying to send an email.
from your phone instead of the laptop. Okay, well. Come on back, girls. We need some power.
Honestly, man, the power is in hands of the...
It is either 1-1 or 1-2, all right, of the Cayman Islands Constitution 2009 order, in which it is, as an article, that we are of Christian values and faith. So it's not just in the preamble that states what the Constitution was supposed to achieve. It is written in the articles of it. Yeah. And even if you look at the right to education, even in the right to education, it talks about religious freedom as well. So it's not just about Section 14, what Section 14 says, or the preamble, which can be at times, as people may choose to, except when they want to use it for their benefit, to discard the preamble. But let's look just for a moment or two about the Constitution and how it got here, the Constitution 2009, right?
Okay.
And we look at how many years the England and the Cayman Islands worked, drafted, redrafted, the pastors fought for it, the people rejected this draft finally when they said this is what you got, and Section 14 was worded the way that the public wanted it worded. It was passed by 62% who voted for it. Right? So then certainly the people's intent and the drafters' intent was that the Christian Values Foundation was clearly expressed in the preamble and throughout the document. As you go throughout the document, you see.
So you called it. So what? Number 11?
No. Go to 1.
Okay. Citation and commencement. All right. Well, I'll usually have a hard copy with me while we're going through.
No.
Up more? So this is the order? Down?
Here we go.
All right. So this is citation in Section 1. And it's been the Katina Anglin. I think I know where we'll find it.
Yeah.
But looking at the time, Miss Katina.
Oh.
So, yeah. See, you have fun with me over here, boy. It's not a bad place to be in Radio Cayman, especially in the days of the rain. All right. So for
and the rain must come too, because the rain also brings life. So
life
in all things, we give praise and glory to God.
Yeah, man. As we look at it too, the affirmation, a God-fearing country based on traditional Christian values, tolerant of other religions and beliefs. So for the public, then, as you sort of, speak to us, 6 to 8 p.m. obviously assemble. They can carpool. They can take the transportation that's provided. What else are you asking? And just recap for us, please.
We are asking you to join us on the 1st of July from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Legislative Assembly, that you wear a white top, that you call 917-2985 and speak with Gwen about transportation requirements or times. Again, we have 4 p.m. at Northside School Field and 4 p.m. at the East End Civic Center for pickup times. We have 4:30 at the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist. We also have 4:30 at the West Bay Town Hall, at the Turtle Farm, and at the Four-Way Junction Centennial Towers. At 5:15 p.m. from the Seventh-day Adventists on Smith Road, the Universal Church on Walker's Road, and Full Gospel Hall on South Church Street. So come on out and join us for our Family Empowerment Rally from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Legislative Assembly building. Now, for the pastors and other church leaders, youth ministers, and so on, we will have a panel discussion at the First Assembly of God there on Linford Pearson Highway on Sunday afternoon at 3:30. This is a special answer and question session for clergy who have questions regarding how to address the situation with members of their community and members of their churches. So join us 3:30 p.m. on Sunday at First Assembly of God. And for more information on that, you can call me on 922-6644, 922-6644, or on 322-0222. 322-0222. May the good God bless the Cayman Islands, the creator of this world and all that's in it. Jesus Christ is our Lord. Hallelujah. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Katina. All right, so this coming Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. on the steps of our Legislative Assembly building.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll get a chance to chat with you again before the week is out. All right, spread
that
some
would be
peace
awesome.
Let's see what we can do.
Yes.
All right, let's pause and take a break. When we come back, for the next half hour, tell you about the HSA upcoming HIV testing week. 2 o'clock, a little chat with our friends from boxing, and we talk about InStyle Cayman. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Sending money to Jamaica? Send a money transfer with Western Union's direct to bank money transfer service. Send a money transfer conveniently and directly to bank accounts in Jamaica. Just tell your friends and family in Jamaica to register at a Western Union agent location for direct to bank deposits of their transfers. Visit your Western Union location for more information and try our direct to bank account service for your next transfer. Western Union, moving money for better.
Western Union also makes money from currency exchange. When choosing a money transmitter, compare fees and exchange rates, which may vary based on a number of factors and are subject to change.
Did you know that once properly sanitized, some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after coming in contact with floodwater? In order to properly sanitize these tins, always remove labels and then wash tins in a strong detergent solution using a brush to get rid of excess impurities. Tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air-dried before opening. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Don't forget to tune in every Monday through Friday for the 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Government's responsibility is to create an economic environment where Caymanian businesses can thrive. The cruise industry brings $200 million worth of revenue each year. The cruise berthing facility will protect and grow the cruise industry, providing entrepreneurial opportunities for Caymanians.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you. The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Honored to continue our partnership with our Health Services Authority and now to be joined by the HIV and STI coordinator, program coordinator, Nurse Laura Elniski, together with a good friend from the Canals Red Cross and unfortunately a little bit under the weather, Miss Carolina Ferreira.
Just say it. Disease agent Carolina Ferreira. I know you're thinking it. So you're both sitting all the way across on the other side.
And she won't take a hit, you know. But anyway, this just show how inclusive we are. We even let Carol. No, I must commend you for not only honoring your commitment, but that strong work ethic. You brave the rain. You won't call in sick when you obviously. We know you're sick. Go home. No, you are, like Nurse Laura, you're a dedicated public servant. And it's amazing. It's either that or there's nobody else to do your job when you're not there. So I'm not sure which one
How
is
many
it.
hats she wears, so.
That's not what it is? Yeah. No, but thank you. And hopefully you feel somewhat welcome. I'll adjust the temperature and make it warmer for you.
Oh, that's very kind.
After
Thank
you leave.
Yes, after I leave. Just make sure that you and my germs stay here and have a party.
But, you know, Nurse Laura, from the perspective of our community starting to not only have a very respectful conversation about STIs and HIV and AIDS and the testing and the notion that we need to be better at not only accommodating ourselves and looking after ourselves and insisting that we would go to the physician to check our cholesterol and whatever. That, hey, can you check this, and this? Because not for it to be an afterthought.
Yeah, and we still get patients coming in and saying that they've asked their physician when they were doing a checkup or they were sick or something, can I get an STI test? And we do have patients saying that, some physicians say it's okay, you don't need one. So we do really want to advocate for the patient themselves to speak up and request it. And during this free testing week that we hold in June this week, and again leading up to the 1st of December, you don't need to see the doctor. You don't need to make an appointment. You can just come in and advocate for yourself to get a free test.
I'm glad you share that because I've heard from different people for different reasons, maybe understanding that, and help me to get the language correct. You know, they may not believe that they've done anything in a time recently that may have exposed them, but what about 3, 5, maybe even some years ago, just to be sure, because they've never had a test and they're in a new relationship or they think of starting a family. And I've had some, not many, but some like you who said, while they were the physician, they asked, hey, could you just check? And there's this almost reluctance on the part of the physician.
There is, there's a financial aspect too.
There's that.
But also, with something... with an infection like HIV and other STIs, there sometimes aren't any symptoms. So when you go normally we only go to the doctor when we're feeling like Carolina today, under the weather. But, we should be proactive when we don't show any symptoms to go and get tested, because a lot of the time HIV, syphilis, chlamydia and gonorrhea, 2 bacterial infections, sometimes you don't know that you have the infection because you don't show any symptoms, especially for men. Men are more likely not to show symptoms and carry the infection. So of bacterial infections, and with men and women can have HIV and not know that they have HIV until they do a test. So it's really pushing for, your health is your responsibility, and speaking up and going to get a test done.
And testing is just one of those things that you do once you're sexually active. It's just a part of your checkup to make sure that you're doing well. There is no connotations to testing. It's just something that you do proactively, and I think we've stigmatized general testing, not just HIV, but any sort of testing that is associated with sexually transmitted infections. And there's no real reason for it. It's an important part of your health. We're all sexual beings. Whether or not people are or are not having sex at some point, chances are that they will choose to be in some form of sexual relationship. And it just comes with the territory. So I think the more we talk about testing, and this is the more we end up sort of advocating for physicians to embrace testing. It becomes more just one of those things that you end up doing as part of your checkup.
And I think the first time you come in and get a test, it's quite daunting. Maybe thereafter, but it does become, once it becomes part of your routine, or you see that there's free testing on, you can, you try and feel a little bit less nervous about it. It doesn't seem as but people come in and I say I'm taking a small sample of blood, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's better." I'm like, "Yep, it's not that huge amount of blood. You're going to be in and out in 5 minutes, and most of the time you can get your results the next day. So the process is really quite simple." And as we say this week, there's no financial aspect to it either.
So it's all this week?
All this week at Georgetown General Practice from 9 to 1. Bodentown General Practice from 9 to 1. West Bay is going to be Thursday and Friday 9 to 1. They already did today and yesterday. East End is all week 9 to 1 as well. And Northside is going to be Friday 8:30 till 2. They were doing it today as well. And this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, I'll be at the Red Cross Cayman Corporate Centre from 2 to 4 doing free testing too. We partner, this is I think our third year partnering with 7 Mile Medical Clinic. And so I'll be there on Saturday morning between 9 and 12. We also partner with our sister islands as well. And Faith Hospital will be doing it tomorrow between 9 and 1. And Little Cayman was doing it this morning between 9 and 1.
So for the public, anybody in the public.
There is always a place that you can come in to get retesting. And we, as you know, Carolina, Red Cross and HSA have been partners in this a very long time. And we used to do a regular Tuesday clinic at the Cayman Corporate Centre from 9 till 1. And it's been very, very well received. People turn up knowing that they can come every Tuesday morning between 9 and 1. And so we continue that if you can't make it this week or you're off island or there's something else going on. Know that Tuesday clinic is always there as well.
And with that, I asked about the age. I mean, obviously someone who's of legal age, 18 above can, but only because we recognize that age of sexual consent is less than the age of majority. If someone under the age of majority, so someone who's not 18, can that person come independently? Some may hear me ask this question, think it's irresponsible. Some may say, fine, let us ask. But you guide me, chastise me as you wish. Ms. Carlina, we know you were perhaps more direct.
No, I think it's one of those things where Nurse Laura is not there. Nobody is there to try to, if someone comes in for an anonymous test or something along those lines, we're not going to ask them for, two types of identification and to, pee in a cup as well. That's not the point.
Right.
The aim is to ensure that we're encouraging people to take ownership of their sexual health. So obviously when it's just like if there are young people that we know who are sexually active before the age of 18 and everything else, but again, the aim is to have them at a point where it is that people feel comfortable. Yeah. I do know that Laura can speak a little bit more about the rights that young people have in terms of accessing health services.
So actually at Women's Health, anyone can go in there and access family planning and testing. There is a policy, the Gillick competency policy, that obviously you have to speak with the individual, and there's a level of understanding that needs to be obtained. So as long as the individual isn't harming themselves or someone else, then nothing else would come of that. But they can speak to a physician there and a nurse there, a midwife at Women's Health, make an appointment, and there could be seen. That's again for family planning as well. So that's the birth control or further testing. We want to emphasize that you're doing it for yourself. You're taking responsibility of your health. And if you are turned away because you are 16 and they say you need medical, your age of consent for your parents for medical reasons is 18, we're doing a disservice to that individual.
Yeah, and I appreciate sharing that. And I'm not trying to be irresponsible or offending about sensibilities, but a notion in this country that we have so many different ages for different things. One age to drive, one age to vote, one age to this. But if the age, and you may say, well, it should be less, should be higher. I'm not going to get there just yet. I'll have a show for that in the future. But if the age of sexual consent is 16, that's my understanding in Cayman, and you go to a physician, for what it's worth, Now, STIs, if I may ask, something that you've shared, just to repeat. Miss Susan, we have to take a break? No? Okay. She's the boss and the best one. Thank you very much. So we'll continue speaking until 2. HIV is one thing, but STI, some of us may not, partly because you shared with me, some of the symptoms are not there. You think you're healthy, you don't have any reason to believe you're not, but you've never been tested. You could be affecting yourself in a negative way, infecting your partner or partners or whatever the case, because you haven't been tested. Men may not have a sign. Is it the same for women? And then
a lot of infections don't. There are symptoms, but not everyone will experience every symptom. So something like pain when you pee, pain when you have sex, discharge, or for a woman bleeding outside their menstrual cycle. Those are all signs of an infection. But again, I may present with those infections, but Carolina may not. So it would be for me to go into the doctor if I have some symptoms. Most likely I would, but again, what kind of that thinking, why would Carolina go get tested? But she would know that I should just get regular testing anyway, because I may not present with those symptoms. So with something like HIV, the symptoms can be variable, and we normally just say, like a flu-like illness. And enlarged lymph nodes. And of course, you can have those symptoms when you have another infection present. It doesn't scream HIV. But again, people may have HIV and not present with those symptoms. And they find out, we have mandatory testing for life insurance or for health insurance. We do get patients who that's how they find out that they're positive, because they've had to have that mandated test. Whereas we really would like for people to come in and just do their regular testing by themselves.
Okay. And as you share, the free testing week is not just only HIV, but STI, sexually transmitted infections.
So it's HIV and syphilis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there's, if you're going into the district clinics or to the Red Cross or a 7 Mile clinic, you just ask for it to be registered for the free testing. And then upon discussion with the nurse that would be conducting the test, if there is concern about other STIs or you haven't had a test done in a while, they can open that up to do other STIs. I had a phone call this morning from, I think it was West Bay Clinic, who had a patient come in for initially the HIV test, and upon discussion, they opened it up for all the STIs.
So our own health, to be our advocates, this is an opportunity, because financially some people maybe any reason is
it does add up. Yeah. So an HIV test can cost some $60 or up to $100, and that's just for one of the tests. So if you're looking at doing a full STI panel, you're probably looking at $400, and that's a lot of money. So we definitely push for people to take their own responsibility and do it for themselves.
If I may ask then, there are some of us who, when we go to our physicians, maybe it's every year, maybe it's more frequent, maybe it's every 2 years, and we get, I'll just say generic blood work, we get certain things, and we're strong advocates for our health. We have this involved conversation, we're looking at it because for whatever the reason is, right? Then there are some who haven't been a physician in 3 decades, and they take that with a badge of pride.
Yes.
With respect and with your guidance, for that person, male or female, who believes, and probably reasonably so, that, well, I haven't stepped outside the marriage, I haven't engaged in this, so it's probably no reason, from their perspective, and swearing by their partners, fidelity and the like, hasn't had any sort of testing at all, to their knowledge. For peace of mind or for just absolute certainty, should that person venture into this area?
Are you trying to drive wedges between people now? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I'm trying to encourage us to be your best advocate.
No, I think you're correct. I think it's obviously. No, I think it's one of those things that, it's like as Laura said, the financial cost that comes associated with doing the entire battery of STI testing is pretty significant. We're not advocating for people to go and spend $500 annually to figure out about their sexual health, but I think think that there comes a time in which it is that, you do need to have the tests that are done. And I think a lot of times too, you need to have these discussions with your healthcare providers, with Nurse Laura and whatnot, to figure out about, if you've tested negative for certain STIs, whether or not, like for instance with HIV, there's a window period, right? To make sure that you're not testing within the window period. The window period is much shorter now than it was before, but it still exists, and it's just like, and more importantly, your negative status is only as good as your ability to maintain it. So how do you minimize your risks for contracting things later on in life? So I think it's one of those things where, yes, if you haven't gotten a test in quite some time and whatnot, go get yourself tested, figure out where you're at now, understand that the science and the technology have changed significantly even over the course of the last few years, much less 3 decades ago, when it comes to it, and it's a good way to just kind of keep tabs on your health. So it's not, I think it's one of those things where, because of the stigma around those things, anything pertaining to sex and sexuality, people are going to kind of freak out about. There's always going to be this notion of, oh, well, who's been stepping out, or I don't have a reason to be doing this, or why, are you thinking that I cheated on you that way? It's like, let's stop taking it so personally in that way, and let's really just look at it from the medical perspective, which is you should be looking out for your own health, and it's just, there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to HIV and other STIs, but there are STIs which you can contract on contact, and we don't necessarily talk a lot about those either. So I think it's important to just take ownership of your health. Definitely, testing is something that you should be doing, and to figure out whether or not you should be getting tested, have these conversations with your healthcare providers, with people like Nurse Laura, who can ask you questions and get you to think about it more proactively.
And I was just going on with the actual testing part. As I said, it's a very small amount of blood that is taken for HIV testing, but for the other STIs too. And then for chlamydia and gonorrhea, we can actually do a urine test. So it's not that invasive. And it's pretty simple: male and female urine test, blood test. You kind of have your bases covered. For women who go to their they go get their pap smear, you can ask for swabs to be taken when you're doing that as well for chlamydia and gonorrhea. So it's really trying to inform the patients to speak up when they are with their doctor and ask for those tests done, because we all are busy. We normally have a little waiting time when we see the doctor, and so it's trying to get everything done in one go. And as well, with the waiting time during these testing weeks and on my Tuesday clinic at the Red Cross, the waiting time is really minimal. Again, you're getting registered and could be out the door in 20 minutes, not even. So it's very quick. Okay,
male and female, the opportunities there. If I could ask two other things, just for clarity, and let me ask the first one. This window period you were talking about has been reduced. Just maybe expound a little bit more so that people are clear. I'll leave it to you.
Right. So the window period is basically the time from when someone may have contracted HIV to the time in which it shows up on the test. Yeah. So when I started doing this work over a decade ago, see my gray hairs? The window period, but the window period at that point in time could be anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Yeah. So essentially, as I usually explain to my students, let's say if you have a risky encounter, you have unprotected sex in January, you would have to wait 3 months. So basically February, March, April, and then again May, June, July, in order to make sure that that from that first risky encounter way back there in January, that you did not in fact contract HIV. Yeah. So this was back then. But now, because the testing has improved significantly, so this the antibody test, which was the first one that they used to use, and now they have the antigen test, which is the one that Nurse Laura uses, the window period has been reduced from 3 to 6 months to 2 to 6 weeks. Yeah. And so the idea then becomes, and it's just like as Nurse Laura is sitting down, and anyone who's trained to do voluntary testing and counseling, basically we ask the person who's coming in some simple questions, and it's not about being in their business, but just to try to figure out whether or not from the time in which they may expose themselves to the virus to the time in which they're getting tested, if there's a possibility that they're testing within the window period. And if they are, then Nurse Laura will make a recommendation for them to come back and then kind of get retested But because it has shortened significantly based on the type of test that we use here in Cayman, and it's just like it means that there's the room for error has decreased quite a bit. But it's important to understand that there is, because I think sometimes human beings are kind of, creatures of drama at times. It's like you go and it's just like exactly. It's like you do this thing and whatnot, and the next day you're like, oh my God, this thing happened, and I'm gonna go see Nurse Laura. Well, when did this happen? Yesterday. It's like, well, testing is good, but it's not that good yet. So let's talk this out.
Okay.
So we might still even just do the test if they were to come back. If you had unprotected sex yesterday, we would do a test today anyway, just to confirm that the exposure prior to the one yesterday, to get that result. And then, as Carolina said, we would do follow up with that patient.
Yeah, and not to be, too jovial and you have a test today, don't have unprotected sex tomorrow until you're protected. I know some.
And it's amazing the number of things that it's like, and I do this every time when we're doing HIV 101 through the Red Cross. A negative test, like there's so many people that are just kind of like mic drop, boom, I'm like, that's it, I'm done. And it's like, no, you're negative, either because you have tested within a window period, or until such time as you put yourself at risk, because that HIV test is really only a snapshot, right, of what's happened. So it's not, I am negative and therefore I will never contract HIV in my life.
One's negative, all negative? No, that's only attitude.
Exactly.
Okay, so being respectful and mindful of your earlier comment not to drive a wage. Help me to people who are in relationships, married or unmarried, whichever. These tests are confidential, so they can come independent of the partner, that's the word you use. And I would, from what you shared with us over the years, come and be as open with yourselves and the physician.
We advise that patients get registered under themselves, so they give their name, their number, and their date of birth, and it goes on their file. And if they do that, then they can get a printout. And a lot of patients want that for themselves, but they also want that to show that to their partner. If you come in and you do not want it, and you want to know your business, and you want to do it anonymously, that is fine. But I can do it anonymously. You take your name away, and we do it under a medical record number that's just for STI testing. And you take that number and a few other numbers to make sure we're matching up. But we can't give you a printout of those results. And you can't come back and say, but Laura, I did a test 3 months ago. Can I get that result? No, you can only get a verbal result. Because again, that printout could have been Carolina's result, could have been my result. It's, it doesn't show anything. So we do really push for people to do it under their name and their medical record number so that they have that on file. And then they can get a printout and show to their partner. But it wouldn't be me showing that to their partner. It is confidential. It's if they want to share that.
Yeah, and I think, and the reason why I asked that is that your comment earlier, Ms. Carly, and the notion of us taking ownership, for us to try to get away from the stigma. Nurse Laura, you said earlier, it can be daunting, to do that, even for that person who may very honestly believe there is nothing that they should be concerned about, to go and get a test. First of all, what you test me for, I'm okay, but what if these questions? So maybe if it becomes part of just our regular blood tests as we check our sugar or cholesterol or whatever it is we check, the doctors do these days, right? Let it be a part of that.
Yeah, and we do get people coming back after they've come in for the first time. They're like, okay, it's much easier. I'll be back. I'll come back for my follow-up, and I will come back and get my annual checkup done through yourself. And we're not taking away from the private sector. If they carry on doing all of that with their private sector. And as I say, we partner with the private sector too, and we would love to do more partnerships with them as well.
So you've taken away the cost. It's free testing week. It's very confidential, so we shouldn't have any qualms about speaking to this one.
Yeah, and we don't give just on that point as well, we for HIV testing, we do not give the results over the phone.
Okay.
They do have to come back face to face. And I explain that when we're doing the test. So it's not that they're going to call in and for the results and then I say, no, you have to get them, and then they think it's positive. It's for negative and positive. It's to ensure that we're giving the results to the correct person, that someone else just can't call in for them. But also, even when it is negative, we do a little post-counselling to talk about the window period again and to talk about coming back in and getting retested.
Well, I must share that in the decade plus that we've been having these discussions, I've gotten, Ms. Carly, a little bit more, not just informed, educated, but more comfortable and confident. I've seen our community starting to have these discussions, and the stigma is like, the discussion on cancers and other illnesses gradually going away. It is still a challenging discussion to have with our children or students, within our families, but hopefully we'll have these in an informed way and we'll be able to be champions, for our own health. In closing, Nurse Laura, maybe remind us of the testing, Ms. Carlene, as you wish.
So straight after this, I'm heading over to the Red Cross Cayman Corporate Centre. I'll be there till 4 today and 2 to 4 tomorrow, and then I'm in my office the rest of the week, 9 to 1. If you have any questions, the phone number would be 244-2507, or if you want to find out where else you can get tested, we also have it on our Facebook, at HSA's Facebook. Red Cross has shared it as well. Again, the number is 244-2507. I'll hand it over to Carolina if she wants to give any information.
No, and then just like, and as we keep having these conversations and we keep going back to some of the things that we've said before, but then there's also, changes and things that are coming up again. And I think it's once we understand more and we can start breaking down the old myths and the new myths, I think at some point Laura and I should probably come back and talk a little bit about this misunderstanding about what it means to be undetectable, because we're hearing that in our community a lot in terms of people saying it's just like, oh, people are sneaking in who are HIV positive. No, they're not. That's not what it means. And it's just, so we need to address it. And going back in terms of saying, this is not something that is happening only to, the gay community. This is not something that you can catch like a ball or the flu or anything like that. And it's about kind of, constantly giving context to what it is that we're talking about, but also keeping up with the medicine, the science, and, sort of the progress. Because I think, it's like we're taking steps, positive steps when it comes to a lot of things pertaining persons living with HIV and AIDS. So we're there. Free testing happens every Tuesday at the Red Cross. So even if people can't make it this week, from 9 to 1 over at Cayman Corporate Centre on the first floor, you can just come in, and we're very nice people. We also have condoms that are available free of cost. And, if they have any questions, I can be reached on 916-1742 or deputy@redcross.org.ky.
Thank you all very much, and I hope that I do, somewhat a semblance of, education, helping you guys, promote this. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Have a wonderful, week. Maybe yes, indeed. And to our listeners, when we come back, join us. We get a chance to chat with you about InStyle Cayman, its partnership with Cayman Boxing Association as it supports the Alex Planton Foundation. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. UK Minister of State Lord Ahmad of Wimbledon will visit the Cayman Islands this week to take part in the Trade Summit organized by the Cayman Islands government and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. It will also include senior delegations from across the OTs. The minister will also attend a meeting on Brexit and will hold bilateral talks with the Jamaican Prime Minister, who will be in the Cayman Islands for celebrations to mark the 60th anniversary of our Constitution. In international news, the acting head of U.S. Customs and Border Protection resigned today, this amid an uproar over the discovery of migrant children being held in filthy conditions at one of the agency's stations in Texas. Commissioner John Sanders' departure deepened a sense of crisis and added to the rapid turnover inside the agencies responsible for enforcing the U.S.'s hardline immigration policy. Iran warned today that new U.S. sanctions targeting its supreme leader and other top officials mean closing the doors of diplomacy between Tehran and Washington amid heightened tensions, even as President Hassan Rouhani derided the White House as, quote, being afflicted by mental retardation. U.S. President Donald Trump, meantime, called it a very ignorant and insulting statement, tweeting that an Iranian attack on any U.S. interest would be met with great and overwhelming force. Overwhelming will mean obliteration, he said. His Secretary of State said the Iranian statement was immature. And Michael Jackson's estate paid tribute to his artistry and charity today as fans began gathering to celebrate his memory on the 10th anniversary of the King of Pop's death. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines. For more post-hurricane waste management tips, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. 949-8037 or 949-8037. And I'm really grateful to Miss Susan, because for those of you who have had the great privilege and honor to invite you to the studio, you know sometimes, if it wasn't for the window looking into Susan's office, I wouldn't be able to see anything bright and beautiful on days like today. So there's nothing, visible outside. But she tells me it's pouring out there in some parts. So please, as Katina was appealing to us earlier, not just be courteous on the roads, but be very cautious and careful, because it's raining really, really hard. So perhaps a practice that many of us, not only because of the new cars that we have that have the lights come on automatically when it gets dark and the like in the daytime running lights, but if your car doesn't have that, if they do, make sure that they're on dim, so that you can be more visible to other motorists and the like, the road users. We have some guests scheduled, and they probably all are very brave. But if they can brave this rain and find their way into the studio, we'll have a chance to chat with them. We'll see how that happens. But if not, we'll be more than happy to reschedule, because we had a number of guests scheduled to come on and talk about the upcoming InStyle Cayman event, the fashion and lifestyle event that is taking place at the end of the month, through the 28th to the 30th, and get a chance to talk about the continued partnership with the Cayman Islands Boxing Association, and as they've come on board to support the Alex Panton, Foundation. Hey, listen, a lot of good things happen in our community. A lot of good people get involved to support, to volunteer, to encourage, to share, and sometimes the little things like inclement weather, sometimes our cars don't seem to start when we want them, and little things that we see to be frustration or impede our movement and momentum. Maybe they're there for a reason, maybe they're just part of life, and how do you respond? How do you overcome? How do you sort of embrace it? Well, get a chance to see as we can, and we have a chance to invite you to rejoin us. Take a quick short break, get our guests settled, maybe pour them a couple of hot cups of chocolate, Susan, roast some marshmallows, anything to get them warm and dry and seated and assembled, and then we can have that discussion. Again, we understand that the roads are raining wet. It looks like, from what some of you have shared, that is even very dark and almost ominous outside. So please drive with your lights on so you're more visible. Please be careful, and if you think, you're invincible, well, you might just be, but the next person probably isn't. So be courteous, be careful, be cautious, be safe. Let's take a break and join us when we return.
King Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp is back from July 2nd to August 2nd. Now in its 15th year, the Art of Fun Camp is ideal for kids ages 5 through 10 with activities from football, basketball, dodgeball, squash, rock climbing, arts and craft, dance, singing, and more. Your child can practice physical and social skills while having fun in a safe and secure environment. For more info, call 946-KING. Like King's Sports Center on Facebook, and you can also find them on Instagram or call 946-5464. King Sports Center, providing you with all your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Register before May 31st and save 10% on camp registration.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Tourism is estimated to contribute 25 to 30% to our GDP, and 80% of our tourism industry comes from cruise. You do the math. It's time to build the piers and protect our cruise tourism industry into the future.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you. You see how persistence and perseverance pays off, and when you always have the good producer Susan join you, life is even better. Now, a chance to, as we were promising, an opportunity to talk about the upcoming Install Cayman in partnership with the Cayman's Boxing Association as they support the Axe Panton Foundation. Well, Mr. Terry Donovan, good to see you again today. Welcome. Good afternoon, man.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us at Radio Cayman.
Well, it's a pleasure always, and I think as we have a chance to appreciate all the good things happen in the community, how more of us can come on to share our time, our talent, and our treasure, we're able to do even more together. As we go on the table with first, from this perspective, Install Cayman and its upcoming event at the end of the month, the 28th through the 30th of this month. Share with us.
Yes, Install Cayman is a platform for the local creatives and at the same time an opportunity for international designers to showcase their collections here. Besides fashion designers, we're focusing on artists, photographers, musicians, makeup artists, hairstylists, and more. And when we say an experience in terms of Install Cayman, it's really focused on really cultivating an amazing Cayman style experience with the culture and the style, and inspiring and empowering the youths, which are the next generation, and platforms like these, and whether in fashion, art, music, and beauty. I remember in a lot of these islands as I travel, there are a lot of young people who are looking for creative outlets and a lot of talent, but the opportunities are very limited. And as we're working on this event with Stephanie Ford Ramon and Norma Ebanks and the entire team at InStyle Cayman, we realized that the young people are hungry to show their creative side. They are looking for an outlet. They want people to accept them and really let them feel free to express themselves. And people can do that through art. So we're really, really excited to be able to bring this platform.
Now, Mr. Albert Page, as a model coach, if Mr. Donovan hadn't said, fashion, style, and beauty, I was going to think he was talking about me. But
still beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But we see the idea of coaches, whether it's the boxing coach, the football coach, whether it's that person, in the working environment who's coaching that new hire to excel. We have to have an element of poise and grace, an element of prominence on the stage, so that we're commanding the runway, but we're also projecting and presenting, whether it's the product, the brand, the image, but the person as well.
Right.
Probably very similar.
Yeah, it's similar, and the similar part of it is basically building their self-esteem and knowing that they do belong on the runway, and that that everybody has that opportunity to showcase their talents, their gifts, and you can shine. And I kind of look at the boxing realm and also the fashion, because we're basically both speaking to the young adults. We're speaking to the youth. We're speaking, and we're just saying, hey, step out of the box and let's make this thing happen, because there's something that is inside of you that we just need to showcase, and we want the world to know that. And we want that's the reason why we're doing InStyle Cayman. So this fashion show is just going to be amazing, and the local models, fantastic.
Mario, I almost tempted, to see our very own resident model, to cover GQ and Essence and Urban and Time and all other things. But I won't leave that till today. But for these events, to be able to have the public to become aware, to be conscious, to be part of the audience, to come out and to understand the expectations, we need to present that message to them. And whether you want to call it PR or otherwise, just like the cheerleaders and the coaches and the other motivators and the fans getting the team in the game, but we need to make sure that we get the same level of support from the sponsor as well as from the spectator.
Absolutely. And to just quote one of the young models who's a part of it this year, she says, "This is Cayman." That's the biggest part about this. This is our cultivation of our youth. This is our people. This is our version of the biggest things that we would see worldwide. The New York fashion shows, the ones in Paris. This is our time to show what we have here. And not just from the standpoint of modeling, not just from the standpoint of beauty and any type of fashion expose, but who are we? Art is such a diverse expression, and we have a wonderful opportunity this weekend with, InStyle Cayman to show just that.
Right. Before we ask Ms. Georgia to join us in discussion, Coach Tristan, I was thinking earlier as both Alva and Mr. Terry were talking, Muhammad Ali. we see, I make no bones about it, the greatest of the greatest. He's the greatest, hands down, right? And 3 years since his passing, but he still has made an indelible impression on all of our lives, whether you're a boxing fan or not. In the ring, out of the ring, he made a statement, and he presented a voice for cultural activism, for almost anything, opportunity. We see the fashion. I mean, he was fashionable as well in many ways before his time, right?
True. The boxing gym is not really extremely relevant for InStyle Cayman, other than that we help them provide a facility where they can train. We help them through our network. And we help them by bringing the community together. So I know Norma very well, and I just decided to help Norma bring the show to the market. I think, and I said it many times before, whether it's in boxing or out of boxing, there's so much opportunities in Cayman. There's so much talent in Cayman. And if there's anything that I can do in any way, shape, or form, I will always jump on those kind of opportunities. Whether it's with boxing, sports, or something else, it doesn't really matter to me. If I got the time, I will give it.
And I appreciate that. And I want to, if it's okay with Ms. Georgia, to bring her in. But I mentioned Ali specifically because we think of him as a boxer, but how many of us think of him as an activist? We see the synergies that I think the Boxing Association and you, Coach Tristan, President Leader, have brought, where it doesn't matter the sport, it doesn't matter the thing. If there's a community initiative and we can be strengthened through collaboration, then it's good for the community. Now, for you, Ms. Georgette, I mean, good afternoon to you. Welcome.
Hi.
Share with us as you wish. Go right ahead. Now, for you in modeling and fashion and design and opportunity to present, to be seen, to be heard, to exercise your voice, what does this mean to you, being a part of this whole thing?
Oh, I feel very honored to be actually included in something like this, you know?
You mean on Talk Today? Cool. No, just kidding. She's like, no, dude, something bigger and better.
This too.
She could see it.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel not deserving of this because all I've ever done was, you know, smaller stuff. I've done like basic drawing. Right. This is like a huge step forward. I feel I'm like, so, I don't know.
I hear you. And excited. If I may ask, and this is, I didn't ask you to say that, there was no script, but unfortunately, and perhaps Mr. Donovan and then you, Mr. Page, in our society and in among some of our peoples, we have this notion that we're less than, we're not as good as, even though we're great, and we believe that, not that I want to champion arrogance, but I certainly want to exude confidence.
Well, I will say, as we work with all of these creatives here, it is extremely important that we reinforce that the first thing you have to do is love yourself.
Believe in yourself. Huh?
Believe in you,
Just
you know,
believe,
and believe that the sky's the limit. We believe in the almighty power. We have never seen him, but we believe in him, and we thank God for him every day.
Amen, brother.
And through all his guidance and direction, you know, I feel like this is an opportunity that we can make a difference in the community. It's about being a force of good and using this as a platform to show these rising stars that they can achieve whatever they put their minds to. As I speak to the parents in the evening at rehearsals and the adults, one of the things I always say, you know, yes, these events come, at the end of the event, what have you learned from yourself? Okay? What have you been able to accomplish? You know, and one of the things that I have seen over the years and working on various projects is, besides just walking down the runway or creating a fashion collection, these creatives, youths and adults alike, their esteem levels has been amazing. You know, it really has built their self-esteem. So you might look at it like, hey, they're just going in a fashion show. But guess what? You know what? It is so much more than that. So I think we need to change the narrative. And changing the narrative is really about us really pushing our children and encouraging them to be who they are. And this is where I feel like the question would come up, why have we partnered with Alex Panton Foundation? Okay, the Alex Panton Foundation deals with mental health and wellness. A lot of the youths and children and grown people, you know, are dealing with some sort of issues in their lives. And a lot of us are afraid to express ourselves because we're afraid of being judged and bullied. And, you know, so when we started the conversation about InStyle Cayman, it started about, okay, yes, we can do an event. I can do a fashion show with my eyes closed, okay? But it has to be a bigger platform than that. And so I say all of this is that we need to use this as a force of good to help these kids who are dealing with depression, help these kids who are dealing with low self-esteem, you know, to avoid suicide rate, for example, is up in so many areas of the world, so many countries in the world. And I think it's because these kids feel like they just are hopeless. They feel like they're not deserving. And we as parents and role models and managers or directors, whoever have a platform, we need to use that as a force of good, because what we say to these kids every day is what they will believe. So as a parent or anyone working with kids, we have to be very careful what we're saying to them, because it can affect their entire lives.
Life and death is in the tongue.
It's in the tongue, yeah, that's correct.
Mr. Page, as I listen to that, and then we're going to go back to Ms. Georgia if she's okay, this notion that as a coach, right, whether you're a model coach, a boxing coach, as a coach or manager, you're mentoring, you're inspiring, you're instilling, you're encouraging, not falsely, you're seeing the potential, you raise the bar of expectation. As, Mr. Terry was sharing the notion that perhaps amongst some of our people, but our young in particular, there's a little bit of issue of self-confidence and low self-esteem. But the talent of people who say Miss Georgia and others who are gifted, who are exceptional, who are creative, who are willing to use a platform to be expressive, even on one spectrum, we as a community don't recognize that. And we say, who do you think you is? Whichever. And then we may belittle them as opposed to doing what you're doing and encouraging them, showcasing them, giving them a platform so that, we can be encouraged through that.
Right.
How do we balance all that and bring them to the fore?
The first thing that I always do is and it took a while, but the thing that I love the most is I listen.
Sorry, you said
something? I listen. Yeah, I listen. I like to conversate with them. I converse with them, and I like to, like when she was expressing herself, and I think we're really quick to say, don't say that. But I think if we just allow her emotions to just go ahead and flow, because emotions, whether it's good or bad, they're still emotions. And when I heard her say, she said, well, I didn't feel like I was deserving. We're so quick. No, don't say that. But just allow her to express herself. Yeah. And when she expresses herself, then you can go back, then you can correct, then you can say, oh, this is now, I get what you're saying.
Right.
So, and just being around a lot of people traveling around the world, and being around families. I think parents are a vital role in these kids' lives. And sometimes when you don't understand anything, you do prejudge. And I always say the best way, because of technology, you can always Google, you can always, your questions can be answered. Yeah. But mine is always listening, and the group that we have today with the models, I'm listening to them, I'm watching them, and I'm hearing them, and then I know how to correct, and then I know I can say, okay, now let's take it from there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Ms. Georgia, this is why I appreciate what you were sharing, and what I would allow you, if you're okay with me, to come back to you, because I think as adults, sometimes for the child who would say something, your child, your student, you know what? We need to uplift them. We need to encourage them. Yeah. And you're not deserving that. You're deserving of more. You have a gifting and a built-in opportunity. This is a very small pond, and if we can identify the fish in this pond and not see them as minnows, but as the big, I don't want to say whale, but the big fish in the pond, so that when they go on the world stage, they can represent. Ms. Susan was bragging about how talented you are. And Miss Susan don't just brag about anybody. So you are.
I can't wait to see her design.
Yes.
You got me all like, oh girl, I can't wait.
And the sky's the limit. If you would share, what drew you to, some of the inspiration for some of your designs, and what? Because this is where I think your forte is, right?
This is my area. It came from what I like. I don't want to put something out there that's not me. I like things that shine. Shimmers.
My head body.
I thought that if I did something that would shine, it would capture attention, because they're going to be lights, and it would just project. And then it'd be like, come over here. Radiant. Yes. I wanted something to capture attention. I wanted something that would be bold. Not just neon. I want something that would stand out. Something you'll remember. Something to shock you.
Wow.
Okay. Exciting.
Excited. Yes.
But that's it. And the creatives speak a language that I think Ms. Alvady, you shared. If we would only listen
Yeah.
You know, there are those of us who talk with our hands, not just because we're Spanish, but we talk with our hands, right?
Yeah.
There are those of us who talk with our eyes. I mean, the best way to look at it, you go, the eyes communicate. They're not just windows to the soul, but you need the producer, the curator, the person to provide it. You need the partnerships.
Absolutely.
From that perspective, Mr. Donovan, I mean, the public listening, there's so much going on, competing for our attention, for our money, for our time. What do we get, you know?
Well, I will say this. It should be on everyone's calendar this weekend. Okay? If you're looking for beauty, style, elegance, culture combined in Cayman's kindest way, In Style Cayman is the place to be this weekend. You've heard Georgette, you've heard Alva, Mario, Tristan, Stephanie, and Norma have been here in interviews as well. On Friday, June 28th, is an important night. It's the opening night of In Style Cayman, and we have the Welcome Culture and Style Soiree. And this is where these talented youths, like Georgette, among students from Clifton Hunter, Cayman International School, and John Gray, these students are going to be displaying their collections. So Friday night, instead of going to happy hour somewhere else, join us at the Ritz-Carlton at 7 p.m. And it's 75 CI. And it's for a great cause. We will have live auctions where some artists have donated artwork and will be auctioned off. And 100% of the proceeds are going towards the Alex Pandon Foundation. And then we move to Saturday, June 29th. Again at the Ritz-Carlton Ballroom. This event will be like no other. When you think of some of the emerging from the Cayman designers to the international designers, the lineup is incredible. And one of the most notables I must mention is that Sergio Hudson, and if you've never heard of him, you should research him. Sergio Hudson is one of Hollywood's elite designer, and he has taken his time and he is coming to the Cayman Islands to show his collection. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, huge fan. Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, any A-list Hollywood star goes to Sergio Hudson. Exactly. So, and then you've got the Norma Ebanks, and you've got Kenzie Rose, and Roger Gary. I mean, there is a lineup that is going to be such a spectacular evening, and it's basically fashion and lifestyle for a purpose, and just shining the light on all these creatives and doing it with being a force for good. And Saturday evening's event, if you have a VIP ticket or if you have not bought one, I would strongly recommend you reserve one because seats are limited. And we have a cocktail reception from 6 to 7 p.m. Hey, some cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. Who don't want to start the evening off right? Okay, so from 6 to 7 p.m. is the VIP cocktail reception. So everyone, please make sure you go out and get your VIP tickets. And I want to encourage people to come to both events because they both are very special and will be superb. The show is at 7 p.m. on Saturday, again, at the Ritz-Carlton. And just to give our listening audience, ticket outlets, NKY, 5th and 7th, Rock Gorgeous Hair, Silhouette, Funky Tangs, Winner's Circle, Creative Fashion and Design. There are corporate discounts out there. There's a lot of corporations here, and you can contact us at info@instylecayman.com. That's info, I-N-F-O, @instylecayman.com. And we can have those tickets delivered to you. Okay, so corporate discounts, okay, and again, get your group of friends together, get your families together, and come out and support this spectacular event. And the event ends on Sunday, and it would be unfortunate if people come to Cayman Islands and not experience beautiful waters here and the beautiful scenery and going to Rum Point and just enjoying a day on the sea. So, we really have created a spectacular fashion and lifestyle event, and it's going to be truly magical.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds not only inspiring, and it's another opportunity to showcase that despite it being, relatively speaking, small space, small population, there's incredible talent. We just need to encourage it, nurture it, show their love, and give them the opportunity to experience the world stage. Not true, Mr. Page?
That's
what you
true.
say,
That's
huh?
it. That's it.
Well, Coach Tristan, I think like anything, synergies are important. Being able to network, be able to leverage the resources that we have, and to see how everything can play.
Talent is not only restricted to sport.
No.
So whenever we can support it, we will.
Yeah. Whether you're talented at talking, you're talented at teaching, or you're just talented at,
Exactly.
It's all good, man. Well, Mr. Roger, it's truly what Ms. Susan says about you. You're incredibly talented.
We can't wait Friday.
Yeah, man. As she said, it can be bold. And,
I know, right? I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Guess what? I got some great models for you, girl. Oh, we got some top girls.
Nice. Thank you all very much. And I'm hoping
so much.
that this will be a continued partnership that we can continue to showcase. Man.
Thank you so much for hosting us. We're grateful for Radio Cayman support.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure. And thanks again to Coach Tristan, the Boxing Association, for seeing the opportunities to build, everlasting bridges.
Anytime.
All right. Well, tomorrow, Miss Susan, guess what? It's Wednesday. I mean, who saw that coming? All right. Join me start in the morning for the record and come back for Talk Today right after the midday news, the midday meditation. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.